Hi, Chels. How's it going? Happy Friday. I moved my desk a little further back, so I'm like getting myself set up in my new, it's not even a new location, but just even those little like energetic shifts or moving things around in our space, you can like feel the difference. And I have my second monitor that I'm getting set up here too, but welcome for everybody that's here to Human Design Hotline. My name is Brenna. I'm a human design reader and astrologer, psychic medium of 10 years, teaching you all about stars and spirits and how to use them in a practical way. I do have my books open, so as we're chatting in between, if anyone does want to get a 10-minute reading with me, that's available at the link in my bio so that you can sign up there. And then I do record this reading so that you have it. It will go to my Tube of You channel. And then I will email you a copy so you have it to refer back to again and again. Hi, Tina, welcome. But I hope everyone's feeling good. I feel like a lot of people are in recovery mode in a lot of ways from the weekend and like being with family yesterday. Because for those of you who have been here and that know me, I do an astrology of the day every day. And it was just, no matter what, going to be an emotional day yesterday for a lot of different reasons. And you know, as we get older, and Chelsea and I were talking about this on the last hotline, which I think was already a week ago today. Hi, Allie, welcome. I love your emojis. That as we get older, you know, yeah, I don't blame you, girl, for real. Leaving early, I think knowing when to leave is important. It was so funny because I celebrated with my husband's family, and I'm still learning Spanish, and they all speak Spanish because they're Cuban, from Cuba. And so we were playing What Do You Meme, and they have a Spanish version, which is amazing. So hi, Danae, welcome. It was perfect practice for me. And then we were doing like what we're grateful for, and then that got emotional. So it was just like, no one was going to be immune from emotion. It was just a matter, oh, I love that, Danae, that's amazing. Yeah, my husband and his family, well, pretty much everyone is here, but they're kind of crazy story. And my father-in-law actually tried to leave 4 times, and then they got their papers to come here. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Orion. How are you? That's so funny. Oh, I love that. Yeah, they did the Hialeah to New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. We're both from New Jersey originally, but yeah, it just like, I think about that, and a lot of what I've been talking about is, hello, my YouTube crew, my ancestral, I love that comfy and well-fed is good, ancestral lineage, and how just like the impact that being an immigrant to this country, and like especially back in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, there's so many ways that we could talk about that now, obviously, but like, I just can't believe like the stories that they'll tell when we're at a family celebration, and just having such an appreciation for like, even when things are hard here, like, or the days that I am particularly struggling with whatever my heart is, it's like just having for an appreciation for like, hard is so relative to each person, but like giving some grace to just like reminding ourselves of all the decisions that all of our ancestors had to make so that we could be here at this point in time is like something that I was definitely feeling very grateful for yesterday. So especially just like, oh, like if my when my in-laws and my husband and his sisters, when they all came here, they were the one family that won the government lottery to be able to come here with papers in like the late 90s, and so that's not even a thing that happens anymore. And you may know, Danae, or may not know, but like just on your personal experience as well, but it's like, okay, now we're letting you go, but now you have to figure out how you're gonna pay for it. And so yeah, it's kind of crazy. But whenever I'm like in like the Thanksgiving mode, and especially when you look at for all of you, like I'm an Aquarius rising, so the closer I get to Capricorn season, we get closer to my 12th house, and our 12th house is all about our spiritual gifts and you know, what lies beneath the surface. So I start getting like in my like deeper emotional subconscious feels, and being able to like look at like lineage and ancestry, and then Sagittarius being my 11th house, and looking at where Sag is, because our Mars is there right now. It makes like, okay, I'm like during Sagittarius season, I want to be a little bit more social, or like it's easier for me to, you know, hop on live maybe a little bit more than I usually would and do things like that because of the transits in my 11th house. I realized I just forgot my water, so I'm going to go get it and then be right back. I'm also going to pull up my notifications because if I don't do that now, I'm thinking of it, I'm going to yap over somebody who may have booked a reading. So it's $8, 10 minutes, link is in my bio, and I will give you guys an emailed recording of the session so you have that. So let me bring up that, and I'm gonna get my water and be right back. But if you wanna drop your big 3 in astrology or human design in the chat on either TikTok or YT, you guys can feel free to do that, and then I'll pour into you when I come back. So, and any question you may have in the interim. Okay, and we're back. Let me make sure. Hi Brenda, welcome. Okay. Oh, let's see, it blocked somebody's comments. Sorry if you want to comment again, feel free. Hi Volcano, welcome. Oh, I just saw Danae, it only showed me you have to leave your country, but it didn't show me what other comments that you may have said in the interim. Probably just because what we're talking about is obviously charged in our corner of the world. I'm always like, how much can I say? Like, where can I, like, be able to talk about the things that are on my mind and on my heart, but also I always say, like, making sure that I still have a place to be able to chat with you guys too is always that just fun in between. But for my Patreon people, what I'm excited about and what I've been working on all this week, because on December 1st is when we have the launch of our new trainings, is that I'm doing an outline where you'll also have the PDF. So Ryan, this applies to you because I think you're the only one in here at this moment who's in Patreon. But I'm doing how to write a business proposal. And then come January, okay, Chelsea, I see you booked. And then come January, as we talked about in the Ask Me Anything, that was a private Zoom meeting that I did with my Patreon folks, where you can like ask me anything as a part of your membership. Let me just make sure I'm blocking Chelsea's chart before I bring it up here. I'm going to do a little bit of a business review. So thank you. So, that way when you have, like, for December, you have the month to kind of sit on, like, you know, not having to fill everything out, but just like parts of it, whatever feels like it's sustainable for you. We'll do a little review so that, hi Sydney, so that way, if you guys are blocked in any capacity, we can help kind of overcome to say, here's where there's a little bit of like holes in the plan, and here's where you can be stronger. Maybe you should push a little bit harder with social media, or like make that more of your priority, like just seeing where the dials are turned up. Because for me and my human design body graph, I have the 4426 channel, which is a marketing channel. So what's funny is that before I knew that I even had that channel, and being able to help other people figure out how to do it for themselves, I was in arts and music management, which a lot of you guys know. So, you know, basically telling people how to market themselves, be able to share what they need to share in an effective way, what's going to be sustainable for them long term. was also a big thing. Waiting for my husband. Oh, Danae, yeah. And then he will come here to visit by now. And then when the time comes, I can live with him. And he goes, hi, Rachel. Oh, that's beautiful. I feel for you guys. That's not easy. Hi, Kim. Welcome. It's not easy to be split like that. So I feel for you. I know. It's so interesting, like, especially with my placements too. And looking at like where synastry is. I have a lot of people that I connect with, especially like very Aquarian, to just like know people from everywhere in some way, shape, or form. Hello. Having that, yeah, like I have people in Brazil and the other corners of the world. And I wasn't going to start posting my energies of the days, the night ahead. Like for me, it's the night ahead. But then I was like, wait a second. It's actually not like, it makes sense because I do have a lot of people that I don't live in this corner of the world. I actually, let me go get my book because of your question, Chelsea. I realized I have my human design book upstairs because I was working at my kitchen table, and I want to read to you about the one night stand. Yeah, Rachel, so it's the same link always. If you just scroll in the community chat, or if you go to my profile and click on like my actual profile in the bottom left, it's the same link every time. So I'll post it, but it's not a different one. So that way it makes it easy. Yes, Chelsea, I'll be right back. Let me get it so that I can, because I want to read to you about bonding strategy. Oops. Turn my light back on. I rolled back into it. I could do this again. There we go. I'm a warm light girly only. Okay. So let me pull this up and then see. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, Danae. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was so funny because I was talking about that with my husband on our car ride home yesterday. And, like, he's an Aquarius sun. And, like, we were talking about my family and how he was like, well, you know, like, it's because that deep down, you really do give everyone the benefit of the doubt in thinking that they're as kind as you are. And that's what causes like the level of hurt that you have, because you want to believe that like even family is going to have like that level of kindness. And I don't say that to be like annoying or toot my own horn, but like, especially as a Pisces, like I'm a Pisces Venus, like I'm strong, but like I have emotions too. Like I'm not desensitized. It's just like a time and a place. So, you know, having that energy is important. Rachel, are you looking at the Human Design Hotline? Like the not the YouTube link, like the normal link for us? That's so weird. Let me try to see if it'll reboot. Let me do this. And then, sorry, Chelsea, we'll start in a moment. I appreciate you. Mercury just went direct, but the shadow period is still upon us. Okay. All right, I refreshed it. Try it now, and then see if it works again. And let me actually drop it again in the chat. Okay, yeah, no problem. Hi, Julia. I believe I do. I know. That's so funny. Thank you. I love a good orb. Maybe they're the ones that are like, I wait a second, we have to pivot anyway. So, hi, likewise, thank you. I was talking about how it was an emotional day for a lot of people in different ways, or just like, even if it wasn't direct, like it was emotional for me, but like knowing when to like leave the party, like Chelsea was saying, like leave the party early. Hi Kay, I recognize your beautiful username from you're usually my first Aries rising in the comments. I do notice, I do pay attention to who comments, so thank you. It's nice to meet you officially outside of the comments. Yeah, girl, I know. The holidays are so intense. And then Chelsea, I'm just keeping an eye out. Rachel, it should be good to go. I just turned it off and turned it back on again. The Calendly version of unplugging it back in. Okay, good. Unplugging and plugging it back in again. I'm like, these little things. The Virgo Chiron in me is like, my eye twitches when I'm like, I spent 15 minutes doing this ahead of time. It's not you, it's like the tech, you know? Yeah, and eventually the frequency lowering takes a toll. Yes, absolutely. I'm just doing paid readings right now and answering in between. So Chelsea I'm just about to start, so I don't fully want to start answering your question and then have to pivot. But it's asking like, will your relationships improve is kind of like there's so many layers to that question, but I really feel like, especially with your placements, it's like any Aries rising, it's like, give it time, girl, you know? Yes, and Saturn went direct too. I was talking about that, my energy of the day, the last 2 days. Like Saturn being direct is just gonna feel like, but we're still feeling like it still has to like move out of wherever Pisces is too. And once it gets to Aries, it's gonna have a bit of a different feeling, obviously, whenever something changes signs, but you know, like that kind of like, it's like I hear that like cog in the wheel of like that, like when a big ship is turning, right, and moving in another direction, it's like that kind of like creaking of turning something that hasn't been turned in a long time and moving it in a different direction. Hi KT, how are you? Gemini rising, right? Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea, I still see that you're here. Just give me a thumbs up. I know you may be on the phone or something, if you're in the process of figuring it out. But I just want you to know. Okay, girl, yeah. Girl, as if I'm cute. Yes, I will. How about I'll send you an audio if you want. We'll do an audio, like I'll send you an audio message that you can listen to it like a little podcast. If that works. Usually I only do the 5-minute audios, but obviously because you paid for 10 minutes, I'll send you that. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I think I had Rachel who was looking to book too. No, I'm sorry for you. Hi, Leb. I'm sorry for you. I'm giving you a hug. I hope all is well. You'll be fine. You've got this. Remember who you are at the end of the day. It's one step forward to feeling a little bit more freer. Hi, Mystical Rebel. But yeah, it's like this exact thing that we were talking about happening in real time. Rachel 555 in real time with like feeling, hello, good evening. Feeling like really understanding what your boundaries are, which makes so much sense as Saturn goes direct in Pisces and moves into Aries, is like really pushing and saying like, okay, I literally can't tolerate this anymore. Like I cannot be pulled in 800 different directions. And that feeling doesn't also, like that's not necessarily an easy place to be. It's not necessarily going to feel comfortable, especially if you're somebody who's been perpetually relied on as a cog in the wheel of your relationship dynamics for a while. You know, speaking from experience to that too, like in my life, especially with my nuclear family, aka family of origin, it's like really understanding like what they thought was normal doesn't mean that it's normal to me moving forward or ever really was normal. I'm just gonna get my charger so that I can plug in my phone too. Before I pivot over to Rachel. And so, you know, moving towards, you know, Christmas, and we're in this kind of like, yeah, Rachel, this holiday period. You probably asked something like about that, Rachel, too. Like this month of, you know, the holiday season from Thanksgiving to New Year's, essentially. It's really just like a helpful moment to say, like, what are we no longer willing to tolerate anymore? Like, what can we just actually, where do we have no capacity, and being able to move forward. Yeah, the beliefs are very very starkly different. Yes, between your family of origin. Sorry, it's, your comment was like on my rug, and I was like, why do I feel like I cannot? This is like my eyes crossing. But yes, yeah. And Rachel, I'm sorry, your uncle's in the hospital. My plans are going out the window. I know. I think that even, and I'm sorry for that, for one, just to kind of like anchor in the heaviness of that. And that limbo is really hard. It's weird because I think that it's like, you know, when like some kids, hi Darian, be safe driving, nice to see you. When our lives come to a stop, when something like that happens, it's a weird feeling because people who crave a certain amount of discipline kind of learn to like the chaos of when things like that happen. Not that you like what's happening, but there's a certain like quality to traumatic events. Yeah. That like you can't focus on anything else. And I feel like for you, it's that middle ground, and we'll start early because we're here. 22 minutes. That middle ground of like, he's in the hospital now, right? But it's something that's been in limbo for a long time. And so it's when we're in that, it's called like anticipatory grief, of like when somebody is on hospice or when they are coming to their time to transition to the other side. It's that like anticipatory state that's really hard to navigate, like literally a foot in both worlds, and knowing that there's also only so much that is in your hands for what you can realistically do. Hi, Bren. So when you really focus on the things that you can control truly in that situation, it will help you to be able to figure out compartmentalization. And I know that especially for like Leo dominant folks, but I feel like I have a lot of projectors that can feel this way as well, like you, Rachel, that it's this feeling like overly responsible in a lot of ways because you understand systems really well. So like when you understand, like you can learn a hospital system or the way that things should be because you can see as a projector a more efficient way for things to happen. It's like just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that's the core of what human design teaches us, is just because we can see so clearly what's happening, are we exhausting ourselves because we make ourselves feel responsible because we are the ones that know best? And then we go back to your strategy of waiting for the invitation. And then it's like, okay, even when you accept an invitation, it's like thinking of yourself as a celebrity. Yes. 2 of my 3 channels are projector channels. So I feel that like on a personal level as well as professional. You know, deciding realistically, and this is so interesting because I have it in my drafts right now to post this. And it's been something I've been thinking about for a while just because of also my personal experiences and being in this like period of reflection during the holidays, and how our 10th house, which is all about career, the most visible parts of our chart, is in direct opposition with our 4th house, which is our roots, our family system, our home. And so there's usually, for most people, when something is happening or popping off with career in a good way, there are challenges and changes in the 4th house. And that's why the little clip that I'm inserting is from The Devil Wears Prada, where Nigel, who's played by Stanley Tucci, turns to Anne Hathaway, Andy, and says, tell me when your personal life goes up in smoke because that's when you need a promotion. Hi to Polly. And for a lot of like my collective in saying that, I don't like to overuse that terminology, but I find it to be effective. Like, hi, Purist Alchemy. A lot of our placements, right? Yes, 555. A lot of our placements, or understanding that, I lost my train of thought because I started reading. I have to close my eyes. When we're on the precipice of making a big change in career, it cannot and will not directly impact our family in some way because of that opposition. So when you know that you have to prioritize your career because your career is important to you, that's going to come with making some people in your family uncomfortable. And so understanding, and vice versa, if I have to tend to my personal life and my job or career takes a hit, in some capacity, it doesn't mean that it has to be a negative hit, thank you, Louise, to your finances or anything like that. It's all about give and take, literally as above, so below in those ways. Yeah, and I think and I think discernment is what's important here. When you go back on that branch as a projector, like the bird's eye view, it's saying if ornaments are important to me and this is something that is impacting my family, it gives me personal fulfillment, it gives me more energy to pour out from my overflow, right? Then I have to allocate time appropriately with my family, because realistically, like, hospice is a waiting game. And it's more so, I think, probably the energy, if I have to guess just intuitively, of like waiting for the other shoe to drop, that makes you feel a little energetically paralyzed, rather than when you really look at like, okay, it's not like you can just, it adds another layer of complication. So it's like doing what you can to visit and be there within visiting hours and whatever is going to help you as a part of the grieving process, because essentially you're in, again, the anticipatory grief stage of grieving before the actual transition of his life has happened. And so honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel the same way with my dad, right? Like you guys know, and obviously Rachel, you know a little bit more personally, like I'm in that anticipatory grief stage where I turned to my husband yesterday. I was like, I feel like an orphan, it's like there's no one from my nuclear family was reaching out to me to say happy Thanksgiving. It's like this whole transitory state. And so going through that transition, because my dad has been sick, right, and not knowing like it can turn for the worst at any second, is really a testament to strengthening the muscle of your will to say like, okay, I know that when I know that I'm at this place, right, it's like I know that the only person I can truly be responsible for 24/7 is myself. So when I have that, right, I can look at this moment and say, okay, like me going on live right now for an hour and a half when I live 2 hours away, and it's like, there's this lots of transitions happening. And it makes so much sense because Uranus and Taurus is my 4th house and Scorpio 10th house, right? So that like big transformations happening, then coming up, something coming up. I had a big transition with my career this year, and then my dad came to live with us as I'm getting married. So like we can see that balance. And I say that to just give some personal perspective of like navigating it as having projector-like energy of saying like, okay, I know that my dad living with us at this point in time was what I needed to do, because when he dies, I know that I did everything possible with the people in my life in any way, shape, or form, so I can lay my head down on the pillow at night and know that I tried everything within my power that I knew that I could. And being realistic about the bandwidth, because like no one in my life, same for you in a lot of ways, Rachel, right, is like understanding that for your placements, right, and with your Scorpio and your energy too, Scorpio and Taurus, like that you still have goals and dreams and aspirations of what you want to do moving forward, and being able to plant those seeds and not even plant seeds, but like you're gaining momentum in a way for your business that's important. So being able to not let that throw you by the wayside, but figuring out, okay, I know that for these 2 weeks or for this month, I need to scale back a little bit. It was like what I did my business assessment, and I looked at the month of our wedding, and we got married in September. And so when I looked at that month, I was like, I'm taking the month of September off. So as a projector, if you can kind of feel and just kind of intuit into your intuition for like when you feel like that transition may happen, because I do think that our energies give us the ability to see that, especially as an intuitive person, and you being somebody that's highly intuitive as well, and a projector on top of that, kind of synonymous in that way. It's really being able to look at it and say like, okay, I can feel like I just need a little bit more time to myself, to my family. So hi Kimmy. So knowing that, it's like, okay, maybe this means that, again, remember you have gate 15. I have gate 5. So right now what we're doing is creating an electromagnetic channel to create some sort of flow here. My gut connecting to your G center, where my goal is telling you, and what we're working through right now is what is going to make Rachel's identity and love and sense of direction feel stronger based on what my gut is helping you to decide, right? So that's how an electromagnetic channel works within our synastry. And I always go back to that because it's remembering that, like, when you have the pockets of being able, like, if right now for the next couple hours, hi Tam, you have the ability to paint ornaments, right? Go and paint as many as possible. And don't feel like you have to rush through them, but even having a small batch of ornaments, just like the little calendars that we had set up at your table for Seacliff, that's an example of, like, you don't have to have 300 ornaments for it to be valid, right? Like, it's relative, and just being able, to chip away at still maintaining that goal is, ironically but not ironically, going to help give you some grounding because you're tending to a different area. And what happens, and when we see things like, thank you Julia, like 333 hello, like in Devil Wears Prada, where he was like, tell me when your personal life goes up in smoke, that's when you need a promotion. We're coming away from that being glamorized. That's why the movie and the book was called The Devil Wears Prada, and it was a, caricature, not by too much of an exaggeration actually, of Anna Wintour in Vogue, right? Because when we look at that, it's like we're coming away from that and looking and craving for a little bit more balance, as Pluto is in Aquarius and then goes into Pisces, which is 20 years from now, roughly, rounding up a little bit, but 19 years, let's say. So finding out when you truly have that gate 15 and you're like, okay, I know this is going to happen the next few weeks, I can take orders up until December 20th, right? To see what actually works for me. Hi, Polk. See what actually works for me. That's an opportunity for you to just kind of get a little bit more clear and say, I know I'm very emotionally, compartmentalization is the word that I kept wanting to go back to because I'm a big believer in that. And I was saying that Leo risings projectors, it's hard to have the ability to compartmentalize and not judge yourself and think that compartmentalization is cold, because usually what has happened is that the people or the women in your life made you feel guilty about the fact that you also wanted to tend to your business as other things are happening in your life. And I know, the reality is, like, I like to work in my business, not just on my business. Like, it's important for me to keep my finger on the pulse and close to what my people need from me. Like, that is a fulfillment of how I'm of service, right? Whatever that means for us through art, and art being an opportunity to connect small businesses, etc. But even just doing like one small sale on your Instagram and in one newsletter, Rachel, could be enough to check that box. And being able to rely on people and allow people to help you and show up for you. I think you host Christmas Eve or Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. So that being another layer, like, let people come together to maybe make it a little bit more potluck style, or it's okay. Like, sometimes, especially when there's a death, my husband's mother just died, and so this is the first holiday celebration that our grandmother just died, my mother-in-law's mom. And this is the first holiday that we were celebrating without her, even though she was in Cuba. It's like just her energy not being present. And that comes with a level of, like, I feel like that's going to be kind of surrounding your holiday. And so it's like everyone coming together to make a dish, or it's just coming together and valuing that we have another year of life in front of us, or at least another day to all be together, no matter who is there, who isn't there, I think is going to be more healing than having to make it perfect by a tourist aesthetic standards for what you feel like it should be, right? It's that shoulding that we get back to, of like, what I feel like it should look like, what I feel like I should do. It's like, what can you do to just get it out there? Even for today, every year I do a buy one, get one reading. If you guys are on my email list, you got the email earlier, but for the next, 36 hours or so at this point, I do a buy one reading, get one free. I didn't worry about having to do a whole new email campaign. I literally duplicated the email that I made yesterday, tweaked it a little bit to clean it up and make it more visually interesting, but I'm not worried about having to be like, I have to do this email campaign and I have to upset the apple cart is what I want to say, which may mean something. Apple pie, I don't know. Very relevant for yesterday, so not exactly the most unique of circumstances, but I think just taking that pressure off of yourself of what holidays have looked like in the past, because for most people, even the Thanksgiving Day parade, there's so many issues yesterday, and that the facade of what once was is kind of crumbling in the momentum or with the purpose and intention moving forward of having it just be what it's supposed to be. And as I say, like addressing the elephants, like if there's sadness, in the room, it's allowing yourselves to cry or grieve in some capacity as a family, and having those hard conversations around the kitchen island, and working up those kinks that, in my personal opinion, and I think, speaking to a lot of us here with Scorpio placements, they bring intimacy and reality and humanity back into our relationships, which a lot of us are missing right now. So I just wanted to be able to say that with my eyes closed, to say that, I'm going to make one Christmas themed small painting. I love that. Yes, for Christmas YouTube, and talk about that. The last 2 energy of the weeks that I filmed, I have one coming out on Sunday for the Tube of You, I'm in my bathrobe. I'm doing my makeup and I'm telling you the energies of the week from bed. It's the same exact notes that I'm reading, the same energies, but I did it in a way that was comfortable for me as I was doing my makeup, because that's what my energy needed. Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's that when things are in limbo, what are your needs truly, right? So when you ground in understanding like what your needs are truly, right? You can understand like, okay, is it that I need to just rest and allow myself to deal with anticipatory grief? How do I need to deal with anticipatory grief? Is it that like I just need to be like, you know what? Let me put a post on my YouTube channel. 99.9% of people, especially in this time as a projector and knowing this, like you're going to be feeling and picking up on the energies of other people around you anyway. So it's like when you cancel plans and your friend, or like you're the friend that's like, oh my God, thank God, because I was exhausted. It's because the collective energy is telling us like, hey, we need a second to pause. And literally my energy of the day for tomorrow, what I already put, I'll post it in like an hour or so tonight. But for tomorrow, and what's also happening, and what I said for my Tube of You video, because I'll do the whole energy of the week on Sundays, blah blah blah, is that tomorrow is like whatever the like energy was supposed to be of what you thought you were going to do tomorrow, plan for it to not actually happen, but just to really radically lean into understanding what in reality is happening right now. What are my priorities and what do I value, especially coming off of Scorpio season, and addressing and saying like, this is what needs to happen instead, because this is what's more important. And that's why, like, when you're feeling bored, when you're going with the flow, be so fucking grateful that you have the ability to be bored with what it is that you're doing, because that's how quickly life can change that fast, right? And unfortunately, usually it takes some of the more traumatic moments for us to remember that, and be grounded in that. And so like those moments where it's like, especially as a gate 15 person, as a manifesting generator, for all of us in some way, shape or form, you have to say, you know what, it may feel a little bit slow, and you're looking around and you're like, I don't really know what's happening, but I know something is happening. And it feels like, the balloon is about to burst, or we're letting some pressure off the valve. I just have to stick with getting a little bit ahead on your painting, on your video, and start that now. And your video doesn't have to be another video that's 20 minutes long. It can be a 5-minute video for December. Maybe that's realistically the only capacity that other people have. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, Aries, Sun, Leo, Moon, and Rising. So all the Scorpio. Yeah, Saturn stationing. Exactly. I need to check his birth chart. He's an Aries Sun. Yeah, and just looking at that, it's so funny. Little notifications keep popping up. They're like, this is Human Design. And yeah, it's like TikTok AI. Human Design Insights. Asked about your chart, which you guys could probably see. But yeah, Rachel, thank you for letting me use your reading as like a lesson to us all. I think it was important. And like I say, it's like there's nothing that when I do readings for people, and you can think of this in any question that anyone has ever asked in the classroom setting. I'm sending you a hug too. I feel for you. It's not an easy place to be. I think like this entire year for me, like, again, I'm speaking to it professionally with your chart, but also personally, for that being a huge lesson for me this year, is like always being in a state of high step, of not knowing what's coming next. And again, anticipatory grief, even if it's not actual death that you're dealing with, is like an acknowledging of like, okay, I feel suspended in midair. I think that's how we're all collectively feeling, because I don't know, and I was talking about this with my reflector friend on a FaceTime the other day, beautiful Toby, who's also a wonderful human being, Aries Sun, and reflector. and how on a personal and collective levels, we're all waiting for the bubble to burst. And I don't know what that bubble is. I don't know if we're going to be aware of the bubble bursting. I don't know if like we feel like we're safe when something happens on a personal level, and then it just kind of comes back to that feeling. It feels like a little bit of both for everybody. Thank you, Steph. But the best thing that we can do, it's not, I think that where a lot of people get tripped up, and I've had this conversation a couple times with folks in mentorship specifically, it's not that tending to what you need to tend to is phony. It's like what you can do to gear shift, exactly. It's what you can do to ground yourself, to say like, I have got my head on my shoulders. It's not like if it, you know, when your head isn't attached to, if my head wasn't attached to my body, I would leave it on the bus, or like whatever those like phrases are. It's when you ground yourself in what your routines are, even a minor routine of like, if the only thing that happens is that I get my coffee in the morning, it's a good day, right? That can be the one thing that grounds you, and whatever else happens is kind of like open to life, open to chance, open to the universe, open to God, you know, whatever you want to say. It's like that, compartmentalization and tending to what you have to tend to isn't ignorance in acknowledging what is happening in other areas of your life. If you want to be a successful person, you have to get comfortable with feeling suspended in some area of your life and continuing with your plan anyway. I just got interviewed for a podcast that'll come out on Thursday the 4th, I think it is. And I was saying the only thing that's continuous across thank you, Steph. Yeah, 10 minutes, I love that. That's continuous across all energy types, all disciplines. If you want to ask me about Destiny Matrix, astrocartography, whatever it is being disciplined to what you want to be doing. And discipline sometimes means, hi Harvest, sometimes means that like I just have to show up in some capacity today. Maybe it's that I answer one comment on a TikTok post and I just participated in my dream in some way. And for today, that has to be good enough. But it's the analysis paralysis of like not knowing what to do with that. 'Cause we're not taught, you know, I think for most of us, I think probably all of us that are here, especially Julia, I know your personal, you know, testimony, if you will, Steph, like, you know, Orion. Yeah, Rachel, it's like just me. It's funny because I just heard like which is funny, Ozzy Osbourne has come up when we were talking about that, because Ozzy Osbourne had, I think you were the one who told me that Ozzy Osbourne had PSP, which is what my dad has. And, so my dad is a lot like Ozzy Osbourne in some ways without the rock and roll edge. But you know, what was I gonna say? When Sharon's like, Sharon Osbourne was on some show and she was a judge, and she's like talking to that lady Rachel. I digress. It was like an audio on here, but this is like how Rachel and I's conversations are all the time too. The linear conversation. There's a thread anyway. But all that to say, you know, it's like that allowing yourself to feel the fear and do it anyway has got me a lot of places in life. And I think a lot of you can also attest to that too, because I know that it's been, there's been a lot of good reasons to just lay down and give up and not give a fuck, you know? But I think it's that, it's the Aquarian rebel in me as an Aquarius rising Mars and Mercury. That's like, you know, that's my rebellion in saying like, well, I also deserve to be happy. Hi, is it, what is your, Ray? Nice to meet you. My name is Brenna. It's nice to meet you officially. Yeah, God's like, not today. Exactly. It's just that like, you know, the more you have a set understanding of who you are, and that's always my goal with human design, is like, it's not me as Brenna telling you who I think that you should be, but like, let's look at your chart objectively and say, this is how you're wired. So how can you feel more successful? Thank you. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you, Orion. I love those little stamps, like the real ones too. But yeah, I think just the core message that I'm trying to shit out in a lot of ways that just feels really important for everybody is just understanding that like in those moments of feeling suspended, which I know all of us do in some capacity, it's still important to know how you operate best within your system of your human design. Me too. In your human design, to say like, this is what keeps you going. So if you get, Chelsea has gate 15, Rachel has gate 15, I have gate 5. Those operate. Oh, Danielle, nice to meet you, Danielle. Welcome. Hi, Harm. We each have different ways that we're wired. And so 4-1. I love that. Wow. Another 1%er. I love that. I'm a 1-3 sacral manifesting generator. So I understand your inside is my outside, in that way. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's like, I'm not going to waste away, and for me, I was in bed all day working, doing what I had to do, but it was like an emotionally charged day on Thanksgiving yesterday. I was happy I sent out my BOGO email that I do every year on Black Friday. Give people 48 hours. I posted it on my story, and it's learning, especially like for my projectors or my non-sacrals, my manifestors and my reflectors, like how to be even more efficient with your time. So it's like, I don't need a 10 email campaign. It's like one email that scratches what it had to do for me as a manifesting generator. I got it done. Onwards with my day. I took Wednesday and Thursday because it was the holiday to be with my family. And then, I do 2 lives a week. 2 lives a week is what's sustainable for me. Anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. I used to do 4 hours. I'm at a different point in time in my life, right? But to me, it's like, I know what my priorities are. So it's like, or what makes me feel good in checking that box. And I think just, and we hear this all the time and it's really fucking annoying, but it's like understanding like what is truly efficient for what your business is important. So hence, I don't know if you were on yet, Rachel, but I was saying that what we're doing in Patreon for the December trainings is just like a business assessment and proposal. And so I'm going to do a training for the non-sacrals versus sacrals of writing your entire business proposal, how to ask yourselves questions and give yourself, the ability to self-reflect, to get the answers that you need based on being a sacral or non-sacral. And then in January, once you guys kind of do that assessment, and it doesn't have to be complete, it's just like to just do like a check-in and a pulse check on your business. It's like so appropriate in my psychic way. I'm like, what do my people need to hear? This is relevant. And in the Ask Me Anything that I did last weekend, or a week tomorrow already, for January, I'm going to do like a little business assessment. So then when you guys have December and January, we'll do an additional check-in, another kind of moment where it's like, okay, this is where you're feeling stuck. Pitch me, almost like a human design Shark Tank in there, so that you pitch me what your business is. You just tell me like what you've done based on the proposal, what you're kind of thinking. And then me, gate 63, Pisces Sun, coming in to say, hey, these are where there's holes in your business. So this is where we have to kind of clean some stuff up. Not because I'm trying to take your business, pick it apart and be cruel in Shark Tank fashion. That's why I'm not on Shark Tank. But to say like, here's where, this is what you're saying you need to do to be effective. This is where we're turning the dial up on it, and, onwards and upwards. So that just feels like it's, just getting your head in the game and understanding like what to prioritize, and again, how to be efficient with that buzzword is what I'm prioritizing for December and January. So you can feel like you can hit the ground running. It's not like I was having this conversation with my husband yesterday, and how if you really reflect and critically think about the cycles of your own personal life, you can see how your reactions to certain things, yeah, sounds good, thank you, Julia, it's nice to see you, how your reactions to things, be critical, yes, your reactions to things are cyclical. And so when we are reacting to a situation repeatedly in a way that continuously upsets us, right, and we say, you know what, like, I know that in my heart of hearts, I don't want to react this way, I want to show up differently, that's data. And so from there, push people down there, go, hi Kai. From there, we can say, okay, I see this pattern in myself to say, like, a lot of people, and I think what I always say, it made me a more understanding person in human design, is that a lot of people do not see their partners, especially, as their own person. And especially like in some of the relationships that we were talking about, like when people have children very young, or, you go through life and it's like all of these big milestones, and then, your kids get older, and older partners or people who have been busy with doing other things, or your business partner, friendships, you look at each other and you're like, who are we? Like, or who are you actually, and how am I looking at you objectively, or allowing you to be you? It's like human design gives us that grace to see a person as an individual, and to know know that like, again, every person, signs of differentiation, every person is going to act individually, or as an individual, it's going to act differently. And for every way and energy type and gate that you have, or what your sun sign is, somebody's going to be the complete opposite. And to looking at somebody objectively and saying, okay, this is what I'm getting. I'm not dating anyone or looking at my business based on the potential only that it could have, but the reality of the bones in which the relationship or that individual or this business stands right now. So when you can understand the bones of something and look at it objectively, that's part of critical thinking, is like really understanding, like, I cannot look at this business through the lens of like just Brenna and being a mesh with Brenna Keeley Human Design, but rather I am Brenna Keeley the individual that's working on Brenna Keeley Human Design the business, right? And so that also is important to focus on, or who Brenna Keeley is in her friendships or her relationship with her family, you know, or those kinds of things that can kind of help us, like, give us some perspective on, you know, as a Pisces, like having to learn to not date people for their potential, to not be friends with people for their potential, but the reality of who they actually are. It was a learning lesson for me. So, you know, just how that applies to our business. And I always say entrepreneurship is like the ultimate practice in like exposure therapy, to make sure that like you're keeping your side of the street clean. As I always say, like you have to be willing to confront those parts of yourself that aren't exactly comfortable, you know, or that being realistic about where you've become complacent in some capacity, and, you know, really being able to take a hard look and just say, like, it's not like how do I word it? Like, just keeping it healthy, keeping the relationship healthy, keeping a business healthy. Those are things that are really important. So, you know, full circle, but yeah, I'll pause there as I'm yapping. Let me know if that struck any questions, or if you guys have any other questions in the interim. I'll probably be on, you know, for another maybe half hour or so. I'll see where the wind takes us. But again, if you guys have any questions, if you want to do a reading, you can go ahead and sign up. $8, 10 minutes, link is in my bio too, but we can talk in the interim. But yeah, you can feel the heaviness for a lot of people, for sure. Yeah, me too. Oh, Chelsea, yay. Let me know if you're back. No one booked for the next 10 minutes, so if you're back, and things just shifted, I can still do a reading for you. Yeah, I'm excited too. It's nice, like, being a psychic intuitive and having a business, because for me, I always sit, like, when I'm in my planning, like, a couple weeks before, and I'm like, what am I picking up on that's the red thread that I know that everyone kind of needs, or just intuitively, even if I haven't had a conversation, like, how is it that as a Pisces in a business I could truly be of service? I was like, oh, like more of a business, like, tangible, like, here's the PDF, this is how you can use it. This is an assessment. This is where we can kind of get another layer on understanding, like, where it needs to be picked apart or dissected. That's important. I find that important. Hi, Chris. I do that for myself every now and again too. You know, like, just looking at, like, okay, what is making me happy? Because if I'm not happy working on my business, nobody's happy. So, you know, that for me is important, where I'm like, if I have to be pouring out for my overflow, but if this becomes too much, yeah, I know. Yeah, that was not. I just saw that off screen. That was not either. But yeah, I believe it. It's so funny. I have chills as we said that too. I wonder who it is. Like, I always, hi Gilbert. I have, I mean, my ancestors also being, like, very present, but the veil is definitely very thin. I can try to pick up on, do some spiritual tap-ins too. If anyone wants to ask, hi Tampa. If anyone wants to ask any, like, spiritual witchy questions, I could do a little psychic channeling in the last half hour that I'm on, just to do it together, if you guys want to do that together. And just drop, like, a weird word or somebody that you want to connect with. That would be fun. Just because they're all prevalent. They're all prevalent. I could start with you, Rachel, too. I mean, we did a little bit of, if there's another word or something, you know. It's funny, all the Leo energy, but whoever wants to drop a word. Oh, sweetie. It's funny, is sweetie is that a nickname for your grandmother? Or, like, it feels connected to your mom in some way? Yeah. Is it your maternal grandmother? That was Grandma Sweetie, or Sweetie Graham? Sweetie Graham. I love that. Is she the mother of, it doesn't feel like she's related to your uncle, or is she the mother of your uncle? regardless, it's like when they're there on the other side, I feel like it's just a combination of our ancestors, mother of my uncle. Yeah. I feel like she just is apologizing a lot that this is as heavy as it is. Like, just kind of very, like, she seems very even keel. Like, your mom was I want to say, like, the wild child of, like, the bunch. Her words, not mine. Just kind of tapping into that specifically. Like, it's, I want to say, like, she didn't know what to do with her. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't feel, like, negative. It feels like in a sweet way, that there was that kind of energy. Like, I don't know what to do with her. But also, in a lot of ways, probably didn't really have the help that she needed. Did she pass kind of young? Yeah, exactly. She was. I know. I remember the first time your mom is so strong. Like, just, again, so much Leo. Yeah, exactly. I always think of that. The first time that we did I picked up on her right away the first time that we met in the human design reading that we did together. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I don't know if Leon Rhymes is relevant, or there's another song that is also connected to me and my grandmother, but I Hope You Dance. I don't remember who the singer is. Yeah, but I woke up this morning and I had how do I breathe without you? That Leanne Rhymes song. And what's funny is that Trisha Yearwood, I didn't know this. Yeah, How Do I Live? That's the oh, it's so funny, I have chills. How Do I Live, Leanne Rhymes, which makes, I mean, so much sense. But I think it feels like she wants you to know that you don't have to feel guilty about freedom, that the part of freedom that you will feel. Oh wow, there you go, Ryan. The freedom that you will kind of feel when the transition happens, like when your uncle does pass. Like, that's a very human emotion to, when, again, anticipatory grief. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and to have the understanding that, like, we now have the next thing that we have to respond to, if that makes sense. It's like we're given the opportunity to say, like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with now, and I know, but it's the messy middle, it's the interim that is challenging. So yeah, absolutely. Oh, we played that at my mom's funeral. Hope You Dance. Oh my gosh, you want to see something funny? Hold on, you're gonna laugh. But this was, I have to do my little puzzle, hold on. What I've been thinking of, this was from the Walgreens or Rite Aid that was by my grandma's house, and it's literally, she had this, and it's the Leon Womack, the CD that plays this song, and it's like a lyric book that kind of goes with it. Yeah, no, it's not the end, is the beginning. Which feels so appropriate. I think, because a lot of us, when we're dealing with something like that, also the year 2000 is when this was released, so I don't know if that means anything in particular, but I think, for just kind of knowing that, I wonder if your uncle is also starting to see his mom, or if she's coming to visit him. It feels like she'll sit on, it's funny, she won't sit on the bed yet, but it's almost like, how spirit usually shows themselves to me too, is like they're at the doorway. It's like doorways, portals, like at the precipice, like those vocabulary words feel important. I am Magic Veronica. I'm doing a little bit of channeled reading for Rachel right now. You can ask a question if you'd like to. These aren't paid specifically. Yeah, I know, it feels like it's so funny, like communication is so funny because it's not a normal dialogue with the other side like we would think. So having that ability they can communicate, and that's all that matters in whatever way that looks like to them, especially at this stage. It's like, especially when people start to see like our ancestors kind of getting closer and all of the orbs, probably your ancestors and mine. That was a cat hair that flew by. But having that in your cat too. But so interesting. Was there like it's funny because I know Sweetie Graham is like also indicates like sweetness, obviously, but some sort of hard candy that she would give your uncle, or like something that she kept that was like I want to say it was almost like an inside joke or something sweet about their, like a sweetness to their relationship is what I want to say. Like I feel like she kind of just gave him whatever she wanted, probably out of just feeling like I don't really know how to help you, but I can help you at least in the best way that I can, to just making life easy. But also it feels like just like a lot of apologies for the burden that it put on even your mom too, and all of your families in a lot of ways. Like that, it's funny because I want to say Werther's, but it feels like rainbow candy. Maybe like Taste the Rainbow. I don't know if Skittles has anything to do with it either, but it's like, I wonder if you'll find, like, it's funny, the Family Guy, ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece of candy, pieces of candy or something like that, just being relevant in some way, shape, or form. And it just feels like guilt is a very dense, a very dense emotion in your family specifically. You know, everyone feels guilt, but it just feels like there's like an oppressive amount of guilt that's not necessarily, like, it doesn't have to be normal because it's not healthy, you know, and knowing that, like, we have to give ourselves a lot more grace. Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like how a lot of people, as a lot of people's ancestors come to me in the sense where there's a lot of, they'll apologize for how they were because once they pass over, they have a perspective shift in understanding through an objective lens how they actually were perceived or how they came across. A lot of people don't have the awareness until they pass on of how they were actually perceived. Especially when they're dealing with anything with the, it's funny because I want to say cabeza, like in the mind, like if it's like a brain injury, an unknown brain tumor, a lot of things like that. Yeah. And I think, you know, when it's our time, and there's nothing that we can do, you know, like it's for your sister, it's like and your sister's in a family way, right? She has a family. Un poco sí, Veronica. Mi esposo es cubano, so yo practico mi español con mi nueva familia de Cuba. So probably cabeza, there we go. There's a cabeza connection. I'm just checking for you, KT, as I'm finishing up, just doing a little bit of a channel for Rachel here. Yeah, I think just allowing yourself to not feel guilty. Look out for the candy. Also, the song Last Christmas, I Gave You My Heart, but the very next day you threw it away. That also feels very like guilt, like the guilt trip, like you threw away, you know. Or are you going through Christmas stuff, hi Maple, and you're feeling guilty about things that you don't want to keep or things of hers that you want to throw away? Like, or like having, like feeling bad about getting rid of something. Sorry, this is taking a while to log into this. Yeah, it just feels like I think for you, and a lot of the people that I connect with, in a lot of ways, it's like it ran in my family until it ran into me, and you're being faced with that very real aspect of background. Yeah, okay, perfect, KT. As my thing just came up, sometimes it happens if a couple people are trying to book at the same time. A lot of ancestors in the room. So having that energy. But okay, so 6:40, it's 6:34, so I have 6 minutes before I pivot over to KT. Thank you. But yeah, it feels like for Sweetie Graham, it's just like a lot of like lamenting and asking them for favors. Like if your ancestors on the other side, like don't be afraid to like lean on her. Just because she can't be here to physically help you with the logistics and the legalities of the earth plane, doesn't mean that she can't actually help with them in a different way. It's like, hey, like I need help with this. Like I need help for you to just like make this as smooth as possible. Like, you know, you did a lot of mucking and schmucking. It feels very like Yiddish, like a lot of Yiddish words, like a very part of like your Jewish like ancestry, but like that kind of like like, she's very apologetic is the best thing I could say. And I think, like, giving you some healthy consolation and knowing that you are doing all that you can. And for your sister also to know that, like, if whatever is going to make you both, similar continuation of what I was saying earlier, make you feel like you can lay your head at night and know that you did everything possible while still being there for the people who are alive, you know, is important. It's different, like, because your uncle does have Down syndrome, like, you know, he has another layer of care that he needs because, you know, the world is set up for, generally speaking, neurotypical people, you know, or in that vein. But it's like there's also a responsibility of parents to provide for their children in a certain way. And so, you know, there's probably are things that your uncle didn't get that, you know, now that we're at the end of his life, it's like a guilt in general for, like, oh, we could have done this for him, or, you know, I wish I had, if he loved dogs, I wish I took him to see the neighbor's dog more, you know. And there's always going to be those moments of where we feel like of all the things that we should have done, but we always know that even if it wasn't what our best is, truly, we always do our best at the time, even if we're not proud of what our best looked like. But we are also all individual souls, individual bodies, individual beings that have to compartmentalize, you know, again, in that way of just, like, acknowledging that we're all these little individual cells that come together to make up the whole, but, like, we still are individual cells that make, you know, it's funny, I want to say mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I don't know if science, and also, I smell vinegar, which also what I was visualizing with that is like a volcano, like when you do the at-home volcano, like, project, or like in preschool where you pour vinegar in the volcano and it, like, comes out. I don't know if dinosaurs, if that also meant anything, but, like, just the ability to know that, like, she will be there to take care of him on the other side, like she should have been able to while she was here. So yeah, just having that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm so glad. You have to let me know what that confirmed for you. You don't have to do it here. But if you have, like, you know, we obviously have other ways that we can connect to. You can send me a message. But you know, just that. Yeah. Oh, dinosaurs. Yeah. Give him the dinos. Maybe you have, like, a sweet, like, Jurassic Park movie night or something, because the new one just came out. I think it's PG. I don't think it's PG-13. But yeah, it's like you're allowed to live your life too. No matter who's dying, no matter who's in pain, no matter who's going through something, like, you're allowed to live your life too. It just, again, like, full circle. Yeah, I love that. Like, allowing yourself to not get your head dragged around by your sister and her process of grief. You know, we all experience and handle things differently. And I think, like, having that, it's not selfish or cold to say, like, logically this is what needs to happen because, like, we're doing the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing isn't right in the eyes of people who have made us feel guilty because they wouldn't know the right thing to do if it hit them in the face. You know, it's like, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to know, how do I word that? Like, you ultimately know in your core, like, what it is that you want to be doing. And so I feel like, again, her coming in and asking her for help to lighten that burden, they're listening, you know, and Sweetie Graham is listening, and just to ask her for that assistance that you need to be able to process your emotions and to be there for Noah and to prioritize what his needs are too, because he's only going to be this young for such a short amount of time that it's like you can allow yourself to ground in him and giving him, you know, the Christmas that a 6-year-old can have in this way, and, you know, enjoying his 6th year of life in a way that allows you to feel like you weren't so busy in what everyone else was doing. And the best way, it's like, as fucked up as it sounds, like, not, oh, there you go, yes, oh wow, yes, that's right, for the High Priestess, I love that, oh my gosh, yes, amazing, yeah, mitochondria, that's so funny. But I will leave you with that. You are the powerhouse of the cell more than you think that you are. And I think knowing that, like, it's scarier too. Oh, also, like, the monitoring spirits, so annoying. Just, like, go away, flee. Go away, Nat. Like, you know, people trying to be very invasive in what they think that you should be doing. also feels very relevant, as the spy fly is, my Toby, the reflector, was saying yesterday, or 2 days ago, also feels very prevalent too. Like, it's just like people trying to like poke holes in the plan because they don't know what to do with themselves. And that's not a you problem, that's a them problem. So yeah, I know. I'm giving you a hug. I feel for you, but it'll, even though it doesn't feel like amazing, obviously these things never do. It's you. I'm not, I know that you're doing what you're supposed to be. It's just not letting yourself live in that guilt and know that like you're allowed to prioritize you. So yeah, absolutely. I'm sending you a hug. It was at 111 on my time right now. But yeah, 1 hour and 11 minutes. So it very apropos. So, but we started at like 54. So I'll send you the link to both of those, or the link to this recording with the timestamps for both, so you can go on and you can say, don't shoot the messenger, she said it, not me. Right, just go scroll to her YouTube video. This is all you have to do is watch this. I don't have to say anything. And that maybe you can feel a little bit better. But thank you, Rachel. Thank you for letting me channel for her. Good night. Okay, so KT, trying to figure out my career and where to move feels like forced change is coming. It's so funny because before you even hopped on, and maybe you were here and I didn't realize, but hi, Timothy. That has been the theme of the night, where it's like, where can we sense that change is coming? But we don't really know where or how the other shoe is going to drop. And so I'm going to pull up your chart as well. And again, I send you a copy of the recording, and it's so funny on my Taurus placements today. Rachel is a Taurus sun as well. But now, for your placements, or when we're looking at Tauran energy, we just came out of Scorpio season, which is opposite your sun, right? So when we're looking at that kind of energy, it's like, oh, okay, there's a natural comfort but discomfort in being like, okay, every Scorpio season having to do another kind of look at where you're at, what are you doing, what feels like it's good, what feels like it's bad. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder if you're a projector. Pause. Generator. Okay, undefined. That makes sense. Let me see here. Yeah, you also have gate 15 too. Yeah, so Rachel does as well. And what I was saying to her that also applies to you, it's like and we have a lot of gate 9 transits, Sagittarius, you have the 952 channel, also melancholy. It's what creates that depression. So since you know that you have those depressive tendencies, Sag moon also, where you need that freedom, allow yourself to feel like, okay, I know that I feel this upcoming change. I'm listening to my intuition. I'm listening to my gut instinct, right? But when I know you like change when it's controllable within a certain time frame, right? Or like, it's like you like change, but when you're like, no, I like change because I planned for this change. And then it's not really the change that we didn't expect. You're like, no, but like I will allow change on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I'm sorry, but no change can happen. And it's like I use God as like a, I want to say like gender neutral term, but like a religiously neutral term, as like a good orderly direction of like, God, we make plans and God laughs. And so that kind of energy of like, this is actually really inconvenient for me to deal with this right now because I want to have a good time. So like, if you could just pause, that would be amazing. And like, stop the suffering, like stop making this challenging, because I'm also looking at your Jupiter in gate 59 Virgo. Ooh, interesting. The line of the one night stand, that's come up today too, because Chelsea also, who booked first, that was what I was going to go on with her too. And it's interesting because do you live in like are you renting right now? Or like, yeah. And are you with roommates, or is there, I want to also say, a divorce? Like something feels like like divorce level. I don't know if you're married, but it's like that kind of like, divorce babes, divorce. No, okay, that's interesting. Maybe somebody else here too. Well, it's like a separation has to happen, because if you don't enter in, especially as a projector, or a generator, if you don't enter into a situation correctly, listening to your gut instinct, then we cannot leave the situation comfortably. So it's like, if you are trying to avoid any sense of confrontation or discomfort, it's not really possible if the way that we entered into our career or anything that's contractual, a rent, a job, like a corporate job, our career, like we cannot go into those spaces doing like kind of like banded on a bullet hole without there being kind of some uncomfortable repercussions when we pivot over. And a lot of what I say to people too, especially because you have an undefined G center, thank you for the follow, is like getting a sense of what your true sense of direction is, and that sense of direction is always going to kind of be temporary. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, because it's kind of like your Sag moon is going to like that freedom, because you are going to hyper focus on what you want to hyper focus on, like when it feels appropriate for you. So when anyone tries to take you out of that, or a career tries to take you out of that, you're like, yeah, no, this isn't really going to work for me. And so the first thing that I say, especially, I have a cat hair somewhere, sorry. The first thing that I'll say, Orb, as a generator and using your discernment for a career, and this is funny because this is what we'll be talking about in Patreon, is that you want to ask yourself for your sacral A or B, black or white, yes or no questions. So the first answer, or the first thing for you to understand, is that do you want to work for somebody else, or with somebody else in some capacity, or are you ready for entrepreneurship? And then when you go from there, you say, okay, do I want to be hybrid remote, right? If I'm going like the corporate vein, do I want to be hybrid remote, or do I want to be online only, right? Like A or B, black or white, yes or no, will help you to refine what you do or do not want. If it's I could go either way, it's like a no for right now. It's like anything that makes you feel more excited, you sit up taller in your chair, you lean forward, your body, like I move around a lot because I'm a manifesting generator, so like it's a lot of energy as I'm doing these lives. We're looking at that and saying like, okay, hi Elisa, welcome. What feels like the next best exciting thing for my body to do? Now, what's interesting is that like feeling like a force, or where to move to, the two of the most like stressful things is like moving in life, and then also career, because it's like, where is the money going to come from? Hi, Jules. Where is the money going to come from? And so whatever feels like it's a little bit more sustainable for your nervous system during a holiday season, or whatever you need to like make the one first decision and then have it be a domino effect, is what's important. So if you know in your heart of hearts and your sacral authority and your gut instinct that a change is coming, and you surmise that it's either going to be from career, or in the career vein, or in the moving vein, what do you feel like is going to come and knock you on your ass first? Because if you feel like something's going to knock you on your ass, that means that you can intuitively know, and you're being told like, hey, you want to get ahead of this thing because that's going to be important. And it's interesting because you also have career, Aries Mars. Yes, I love that. I know my cousin Jules is stationed in South Korea right now, so it's tomorrow. She's living in the future already. I love you. Yeah, on your job. Yes. So if you know that like this is what's happening, oh, there we go, with your job, right? Getting ahead of it, whether like there's going to be layoffs or whatever that is, you say, okay, what is it that I know that I need to do? So when I just had this conversation with somebody that was saying like, I may lose my visa. I was reading for her list, I think it was a week ago today actually. And it's like, if we're in crisis mode, right? Or like we feel like we're coming up on crisis mode, like the first thing, if I were in your position, that I would do for like actual tangible strategy is say like, okay, where can I start to go to send out my resume? Who are the people that I know in my Rolodex that are already in that vein of work? What is it that you do for work now? Like, what is your area? Or like, what is your career focus? Yes, corporate, but like, is it like accounting? Is it like, are you HR? Are you in a mathematician, like science, communications? Okay. That makes it a lot easier because it's a very transferable skill to a lot of other places, marketing, advertising, like those kinds of things, PR. I would also look at Upwork or Fiverr. Those are the first places that I tell people to look at, even like one-off gigs, to be able to say like, okay, at least I have something coming in, better than zero. The systems that are in place right now are a little bit more challenging to be able to apply for like government assistance. Still do it, right? Know where the hotlines and the applications are if there's an upcoming layoff to your company. And also, unfortunately, because communications is transferable. It's usually that and sales are like one of the first places that kind of get hit when a business is trying to save, especially at the end of Q4. They're assessing for Q1 and what the churn is going to be. All those beautiful vocabulary words. But I would also look at, for the woman that I was reading for last week, I was saying like looking at a staffing agency, and those people, you know, that are staffing you or like doing like a temp to hire position, like if you're a temp at a certain location, you have the excuse to be able, like after 3 or 4 months, to like go, like they're not expecting you necessarily to stay. It's kind of like a trial and error period. And the people that are at a hiring agency also get commission when you are employed. So, you know, just having something coming in and being a little bit more frugal and figuring out like how you have to cut corners. The universe doesn't really give a fuck if you want to do that or not during the holiday season. It's not really fun to do those things during the holiday season when like also your Jupiterian moon is like, but I want to help my people. I want to spread, you know, the abundance, or I want to be able to pay for things. And it's like too bad, so sad. This is the reality of like where we're at. And that doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that forever, but it's like that resistance can be what keeps us stuck and not being able to think critically, because we think that if we are angry enough at the problem that we can strong arm the energy into a solution, when we then create more of that same problem. And it's like wanting the answer yesterday without really having to do the necessary steps to say like, this is the reality. This is now what's going to help me follow my strategy of giving me more data to respond to. So what happens, right, is that once you start to understand like, okay, I'm in corporate, I feel a layoff coming, or I feel like even, you know, my position is going to be exposed. It's either like, how can I, in these next couple weeks or in, you know, up until the holidays, make sure that I'm in a place where my position is really strong. I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's to make a good name for myself if I want to stay. Or if it's like, hey, you've been saying repeatedly with your defined throat that you wanted to leave for forever, being Gemini rising, I believe, Mercury ruled, and saying like, I want to leave. It's like, okay, well, you're saying that, so now I'm going to make it happen. So don't get mad when you've manifested it into being, but it didn't happen at a time that was convenient, right? So a couple things that can just be kind of happening simultaneously. But again, it makes sense when you say like a forced change, and then maybe having to move as like a catalyst to that, or the job being the reason that you have to move in some way. You know, also just kind of using your discernment to say like, what is your sun sign? Yeah, Katie. I mean, I love communications for you just with your Taurus placements alone. Yeah, and your Saturn in gate 13 too is the gate of the listener. So the more it's like the quote, like we have 2 ears and one mouth for a reason, just really listening between the lines for like what you need to get the intel, to get the data, to position yourself appropriately. I would just look at like, what is because one of your strongest senses is feeling. When you get the recording, you'll see your human design body graph on the screen. But when you're in that position of discernment and saying like, okay, this is where I want to, because it just feels like that, like you're like, fuck, I just don't want to deal with this. Like I can feel that like agitation and frustration of like, which is our not self theme as generators and manifesting generators. Like it's just not fun. Like this isn't fun experience for anybody, but it's like, how can we start to again be preemptive and prioritizing, understanding, okay, this is staffing agency. This is how I can put myself in a position where I can build a case strong. So it's like if they're looking through, if you have Slack, if you have anywhere that you can put notes in that you've been a little lazy in communicating about what is happening in the lens of communication, like I would just start to dot the I's and cross the T's to build a strong case where you can maybe save your position and buy yourself a little bit more time to kind of use this as maybe like the first scare. And like then you're like, okay, I have the scare. I don't like the way that made me feel. Where is it that I know that I can position myself, or where can I go to make sure that I don't feel like I am about to get knocked on my ass if and when this happens again, right? Or this churn happens again, or this cycle happens again, so that you can feel a little bit more strong. I think part of it in like the like, how do I word it? It's not that you don't care, but it's like laissez-faire, like if it happens, it happens, is because your Sagittarius moon likes a lot of freedom. So you're like, okay, like it's time for the next adventure. In the words of what I think it was when Robin Williams was playing Teddy Roosevelt in Night at the Museum, I think that's where he says that time for your next adventure. Like there's part of you that like likes that, but again, it's like I want the freedom, but not like this. And so I think just figuring out like when you go into this new year, looking at it from the perspective of what do I truly need to be able to feel like I am getting the amount of freedom that I need, and maybe I'm less micromanaged. I don't want people breathing down my neck, but a job is a job in this economy, and I want to keep it as tight as possible so I can allow myself to take the pressure off by knowing that I have an income coming in, to really now decide like what is it like when I really look at myself as Katie, like what truly makes me happy. And if I don't really have a clear answer, which it never is, it's never like I am going to leave my job in communications and become a fashion designer, and that's going to make me happy, because everything has a hard. Entrepreneurship has a hard. It's like in life, like we have to choose what is the hard that we can tolerate, that's also helping us to stretch the muscle of our nervous system to like be able to do a full split and say like, ta-da, I've done it. I feel safe doing this. Now what is the next thing that I can solve, you know? And so usually when we feel overwhelmed by a lot of problems, it's because like there's certain areas that we're like, I just, I want to just put that in a box and put it over there, and I don't want to pay attention to it. Like I can just let it go for now. And so I think it's a lot of that, like we're being forced to confront harder decisions, or understanding that like, okay, I've dotted my I's, hi Caroline, dotted my I's, crossed my T's. Now how do I move forward in a way that makes me feel safe? Because I can feel like that you just don't really know, and it's a matter of like what can you do to give yourself the good solid foundation to say like, I've got me, and this is what makes me feel comfortable to say like, okay, I'm gonna start applying. Communications and applying online is also tricky. I would also, if I had to make a resume right now for corporate and I was looking for another job, but I would also be looking at like YouTube videos or other people that are in corporate consulting for like headhunters and things like that are talking about how to create a resume that is optimized for AI review, because anytime you apply now, your resume is not being read by a person first, is being read by a computer. And so how to write a resume with those key buzzwords that are getting you like the buzzwords that are needed for like to actually be able to then talk to a person, and especially again in communications, it's like there's so many veins that you could go. So it is kind of exciting in the sense where it's like, okay, what area do I want to go towards so that I can feel like this is actually a new exciting venture that has a little bit more longevity. I mean, anything with like, I would also be looking into like social media, marketing, maybe communications when it comes to like being somebody that's using tech and AI and adopting these new modalities in a way that is inevitable. It's the part of the future, whether we like it or not. And so like figuring out how to use it with a conscience can also be an opportunity. So, again, just kind of to recap for you, it's like really understanding like, okay, we're feeling the impending doom, that anticipatory state, of potentially losing a job or hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. That's going to help you instead of like pushing with your Aries Mars to be like, I just want to make the decision happen because I want to be able to deal with it. But in these moments where you're like, okay, I know what I need to do to build my case, to dot my I's and cross my T's for my current job, also still look ahead to see where it is that I can go, what's going to make me happy, or what's an area that I can move the needle forward as a part of my path to happiness, versus feeling like I have to figure out exactly what my dream job is tomorrow, is what's going to be a lot more sustainable for your nervous system, and to feel a little bit more grounded. So I know it's annoying and it's like a messy middle of the process, but I promise like just trusting your gut instinct and knowing like how you can get ahead of something is worth its weight in gold if you take nothing else away from this whole reading. It's like grounding and trusting yourself and trusting your gut instinct for what you know intuitively to be true with the cast of characters that you have around you, and being able to allow yourself to say like, this is my micro goal that's tying into my macro. I need to be able to have my job in corporate to figure out like what is the next thing I want to do as the next level of my job in communications, whether that's another corporate job or self-employment, but the micro goals are what makes your moon and your Mars happy. So being able to chip it away, chip it down, break it down, and that way will be helpful. So thank you for letting me read for you. I'm excited to see where the wind blows and where it takes you. And check your spam email, because when I send you the link to this recording. It may go to spam because we haven't emailed back and forth before. Yeah, thank you. It was nice to read for you. I'll stay on for another 5 minutes in case anyone has any questions, and then I'm gonna hop off so I can make sure that I do the little reading for Chelsea and then send some emails. And then I will be on tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time for about another 90 minutes, 2 hours or so, in case you guys were looking to get a reading, but it didn't work out for this evening, or you were busy with other things, family, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I have 10 minutes while she's being seen. Okay, yeah. Do you still, excuse me, do you want me to do your reading now? Or would you rather me send you the audio? I'll give you the gist. Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Absolutely. Okay, we'll hit right to it. So what was interesting is that you were asking me, Chelsea, about relationship. And so what are we at now for the time? 1:30. And so what's interesting is that in human design, right, there's gate 59 that's activated. A lot of us have gate 59 it's a Virgo placement. So if it's a Chiron or, a moon, let me just pull up your chart again. I think it was your Jupiter. No, it's Jupiter for Katie. But gate 59 is the gate of bond making and sexuality. It's also the gate that basically tells us like who, in the most intimate sense, are the people that should actually enter our body. And I just heard this today from another creator that said her mom says this to her when it comes to partnership. And she's like, don't sleep with somebody whose body you wouldn't want to wake up in. And I heard that today and I was like, oh shit, like that is like the most amazing advice that I feel like every mother should tell their children. Do not lay in bed with somebody or be intimate with somebody who you wouldn't want to literally Freaky Friday with in every sense of the word. And so what's interesting, and obviously because I know like a lot of your story and your history and have experienced it in many ways, is that it's who are the you've been forced by your nuclear family to have bonds with people who are not actually sustainable for your well-being. So our family of origin are the people that, like, whether we like it or not, it's just the people that gave birth to us in some way, like, or that, they gave birth to us in some way, the ones that had to come together. And so as we get older, especially because you're a channel of community, as we get older and move forward through life, it's like, oh, who is actually my chosen family and the people that I want to keep around me that have longevity, to those relationships. And a lot of it I know from this placement as well, because I also have gate 59. For you, it's the gate of the one night stand. It's also your Jupiter. And so it's knowing that your people are in your life for a reason or a season. What often happens for women who have bad relationships is we look at the relationship that we have with our mom. And so what happens is that your mom, right, in a lot of ways is very needy. And so in your relationships, you learn that neediness is a way to give and exchange love. Exactly. Because you're like, oh, it's just one and done. Like, it's not that serious. I don't have to want more. It's like, it literally is gate 59 and 6 line is literally called in the definitive book of human design, the line of the one night stand. So it's not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but if you're looking for monogamous long-term partnership, and if you want to get married, or if you just want to have a monogamous relationship and whatever that looks like for you, it is going to take a shift in the way that you expect that you show up in those relationships. So, when you are, especially like if you're in a heteronormative relationship, there is a different set of, like, gate 28, my gate of the game player. It's like, that's a different game that you're playing. So, if we're talking about romantic relationships, right? Because you said currently single, so that relationships in a romantic sense, it's allowing yourself to just kind of ground. And your Aries Mars, it's like, I want it yesterday, right? Or your Aries Moon, excuse me, it's like the I want it yesterday, and your Aries Mars actually, that can lead to, like, it's easier for you to flirt and be provocative than it is for you to be in a relationship that you're building from a place of knowing that you want it to grow. Because what it also does from your placements, or the way that it's been trained to operate, is that, like, it's expecting you train your nervous system to see chaos as like love, and that chaos is normal when chaos isn't necessarily normal for people. Hi, Sam. So allowing yourself to be like, oh, when things are calm, this actually doesn't mean that it's boring or that something's going to go wrong, hello. And so allowing yourself to say like, okay, it may feel weird for both of us maybe are we boring? Are we old? And, the first 6 months of our relationships, like what's happening here? It's like, no, it's like your nervous systems are regulating to say like, okay, yeah. And I think like, looking at your relationships, like bad luck in relationships, it's like if you are going into it with the idea that it's just for a reason or a season versus a lifetime, you get out of it what you put into it, which is like allowing yourself to go in and being detached from which is self-preservation, right? So looking at it from that perspective and saying like, I want something longer than that. What is it that I have to shift in my energy to be able to communicate that? So it's like the types of just allowing yourself to see where a date goes. And honestly, the best thing that I can say as somebody who got married this year is, and I see it with people that are friends of mine that are married, and they won't admit to themselves already that they jumped the gun to get married because it's just what everyone's doing right now. Just like everyone's having kids. It's like, that's like what you're just doing in your 30s. That's why our parents fucked us up as millennials, because it's just what you did. You just had children, and it's instead of it being like an actual intentional thing that our generation is shifting. Hello, other Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea, my other Chelsea. So now you have the luxury of seeing this, although it doesn't always feel like a luxury, more like a punishment. You're seeing this and you're saying like, okay, my children can't choose who their dad is or who their father is, but I can choose who their dad is, right? Like I'm making the intention. I know that my husband doesn't just want to have a wife and kids. He wants to be a dad and a father, or a husband and a father. Like that is what was important to me, And so there's a reason that, in my not so humble opinion, there's a cadence to heteronormative relationships being successful. And so even my friends that are going through their own version, like, not even close friends, but just acquaintances, people in the 94 to 92 generation, first rounds of divorces, like if you look at Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and like even on the world stage, like in reality TV, they like realized that they rushed into something too quickly because they didn't do it with intention or consciously. It was just who was the person that I was dating that was available, and it just made sense, like, oh, the next step is just getting married. And so the nice part is about your dynamic with your nuclear family is that they don't really have a say. Like it's like their dysfunction in their way allows you to compartmentalize like their judgment of your personal relationships or whoever you are with in the future, because like whether or not like you find value in having a marriage or just a long-term monogamous committed relationship, it's like what actually makes you healthy as an individual. Are you happy in that relationship? So you already have a little bit of the freedom there of not having, like, some of my friends have like really involved Italian mothers, and like they have a certain like what do you mean you're not getting married? Like, like that, like they need to get married for it to be valid. You get to rewrite those rules for what actually makes you feel satisfied. And so moving on from that, there was something else I was gonna say. Hold on, let me see if I can get it back. Yeah, I think even too, like, with your bond making placement being in Jupiter, Mercury ruled as a Virgo placement, it's like your luck has been bad historically, not because you actually have bad luck, but because you just chose differently in your personal relationship. So it's not that you actually have bad luck. It's like, oh, what I want in my relationships has changed. So now I want to move forward with a different intention and allowing yourself to be open to the possibility. I think a big thing for you with those Aries placements is allowing yourself to really get to know a person. And this is what I was going to say earlier, that my husband and I are truly friends. There are a lot of heteronormative couples that get married because they're husband and wife, but they're not actually friends. And it's weird, once you start looking at other couples in your life that are like that, whether they're close to you or not, you start to see like, oh, like they don't actually have a friendship. And that is a scary place to be in a long-term monogamous relationship where you're not actually friends with your partner and you can't laugh with them. Thank you, Viejo. A word to the wise. And so going into dating and allowing yourself to see, like, do I actually like who this person is in general? Not do, like, are they a good provider because I want them to be a provider? You know, are they funny? You know, I want them to be funny. It's like, do I actually, if, like, things were to go to shit tomorrow, like, do I actually like being around this person? And it's different in terms of, like I say, like, a difference that my husband and I have is, like, I don't like video games. I don't care that he plays video games. He's always played video games. It's stupid to me, at least in my personal relationship, like, video games don't mean, like, a success or a failure, as long as the other needs that I have in the relationship are filled and he has the people that he needs to play video games with. I also don't expect him to be the person that talks to me about human design and astrology all the time, because I don't need him to fulfill that role. He knows enough. He knows his placements now. He listens to me. We have our moments, but we're not talking for more than 10 minutes at a time about, you know, the stuff that we are not, that aren't our hobbies. Like, it's like being individuals that come together is also really important. And I think in romantic relationships moving forward, like when you are dating, it's like, again, what's your Venus too? In gate 20, also Gemini Venus, yeah, it's like you will have different people, exceptionally so, that fulfill different needs. So, like, you may have your friend that's like your going out friend. You may have your partner is the person that does, hi Jenny, that does, I don't know, like, it's like you have your own certain things that you do with each other that you don't have to do with anybody else. And so knowing that, especially when we have Gemini placements like that, it's like you have to have a partner that's also very secure in themselves, where there's not, and just having this conversation with another client of mine who's in Patreon, actually, and we did a private reading about romantic relationships, and how, like, you need somebody who's really secure in themselves. And unfortunately, it's not that people don't exist that are secure in themselves, but it is, people are extra tender right now when it comes to dating on, like, apps, if that's your only way to meet people, like, where everyone is kind of, like, they want to meet people, but you're expecting to be disappointed, so therefore you just go into it accepting defeat rather than giving the chance to, like, get to know somebody. And then also, as I mentioned a couple times in the last few Energy of the Days that I've done over the course of the last couple weeks, it's doing really sitting with yourself and saying, like, what do I actually value out of a partner? I know, I was going through, hi Yoni, I was going through an old stack of papers, and I actually found the list that I made, because you're a specific manifestor. So you, like, for me, I wrote that I wanted my partner, my husband, to be bilingual. My husband's Cuban, speaks Spanish and English, because I wanted kids, I wanted children, wanted to be a father, not just have children. I wanted him to have curly hair, dark eyes, dark hair. He has both. He has, like, hazel eyes, dark hair, curls, brown hair, also brown. You know, like, those things that I was, like, very specific about what I wanted in a partner. And then, like, some things that I was like, it's like with our house, yeah, I would love to have a fireplace, but, like, I don't really need to have it, right? So it's like knowing, like, when you're understanding from your core, having that values exercise of, like, nothing that you ask for is too specific if it's important to you, and the right person, no, I really can't. Sorry, I'm not the person to learn English from. That's also been a theme here too. Only English, and I only speak fast because I'll forget what I'm saying. To me, this is actually slow for how I'm speaking right now. And my priority is Chelsea, so she knows what I'm saying right now because she paid for the 10 minutes of my time. But for, you know, you to prioritize what your true values are, and knowing that, like, again, I also think that, like, having somebody that is motivated, right, to be able to, like, have, like, as a problem solver, I know that for me, I help people who are, I know, I'm sorry, I had a feeling, I had this, I have an aversion, like, in my close relationships, I help people professionally who are at a precipice or are having trouble changing. In my personal life, in my romantic relationship, I didn't want to be in a romantic relationship where I had to motivate my partner. There's different times we can keep each other motivated, but I wanted somebody who is self-motivated to be able to, go and do the thing. He does the dishwasher without me having to ask. And that sounds like such a stupid little thing, but it's like, I'm not interested in babysitting anyone's son, So it's like, that also is like, people like to get all turned up about that, or all like, their guts in and not because of it. But hi Noli, thank you. But that's important, and I think not feeling apologetic about what you want to ask for. And I think too, at the end of the day, like, we were both saying this because my husband, again, is an Aquarius, and I my 3 placements in Aquarius is an Aquarius rising. Like, if we didn't meet each other, I genuinely love myself enough that I love being alone. Like, I don't have to worry about, hi Zeus, welcome. Neither of us were worried about being by ourselves. So that was helpful. Keep scrolling. I don't know what to say to that. This is what I'm talking about, right? Like, it's so funny on the internet too, and dating apps, like, even more so. It's like Times Square, truly. So, but yeah, so going back to what I was saying, right, about like allowing yourself to see that in somebody. It's like, the pool isn't small. It's only small if you don't believe that it's possible for that pool to exist. And so knowing, like, where do people like that exist? What's your rising sign again, Chelsea? Because it'll tell me what your 7th house is. I have a Leo 7th house. When I literally was so okay with being by myself and loving that I was like out and about. Okay, yeah, so Pisces. Oh, I love that. I mean, now that Pisces has gone direct too, like, that's probably why, thank you, Jenny, why, relationship is on your heart too, because it's like you feel more of the motivation to be disciplined about finding a partner. And so also, like, allowing somebody to like romanticize you, like really having like the nice engagement, and not feeling like, again, because of how you grew up, like your what your wants, needs, and desires are never too much for the right person, and the right person will want to give those things to you. I can speak from experience and lived experience. I'm a Pisces Venus, so it's not very different in what we want. You and I are both 1/3s, so it's like, I need a lot of alone time. So does my husband. He's a 6/2. That 2 is an introverted line. Us as 1/3s. Like, I never wanted a man who was like also super hyper available. I actually find it a turnoff when Pisces rising. Okay. So you are Virgo on the other side. Oh, I like that. Okay, yes. So Virgo, right? Ruled by Mercury, planet of communication. Communication is going to be really important. I also think that, like, when you it happened to me for Leo 7th house as a Virgo 7th house, when you get really organized in making sure that like your shit is tight, like you have a flow for what you want in your life, like you're organized, you don't let, a trip to the not the ER, wherever you are right now, I can't think of the name, the walk-in, every once in a while, yeah, that shit happens, you do what you can, being an only child, the only daughter, but like when you just really are prioritizing that organization and flow for like making everything good for what it feels like for you, is also when it's easier to call in partnership, because you've opened up that like energetic feng shui of your chart to feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing it, and anyone else that comes in truly has to be a compliment to this. And I don't doubt I just, especially because of everything that we've talked about, you're already there. So for me, Leo, I was worried about me, myself, and I, and being loyal to me, myself, and I. And I was the most active on Instagram that I'd ever been. And that's how, my husband and I actually worked together. Years prior, we were dating other people, didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, this is just an objectively attractive, like, human being. And then we stayed in touch on Instagram and didn't think anything of it. And then moving forward, right, to, a couple years later, we started dating we met for the first time again, July 27th or 28th of 2021. And then we were officially together. We said, I love you on the 9th. And then we were together on the 12th. So it was like so quick in that way. But I just, we had known each other and it made sense. He's an Aries Venus. The rest is history. But, already kind of having an intuitive sense about like who someone is, and knowing that, and our 7th house placements, and, you know, me just needing to be like totally concerned about myself, similar to you, you know, is important. So I think that as a 1-3, that will also, I know as a 1-3 that will also get you far in relationships. So thank you for letting me use you as a riffing off point. And, you know, just the more that you are okay, especially as a Pisces rising, to be now further disciplined about what you want and doing what you want when you want to do it is helpful. And it's interesting to notice, like, even like body composition, how our body composition changes when we have that switch. So I'm excited for you. It's not a matter, like, I would stop like ixnay on the bad luck. Like, it's been like you've had bad relationships in the past, but your luck isn't bad. I think it's just fun. It's funny, like, when we look at the, like, how the placement I was looking at, Virgo and Jupiter, which is all about luck and abundance and expansion, is like being careful about your word choice. And not that, you know, you're going to totally fuck anything up that's meant for you, but it's like you just delay what's inevitably meant for you in the best way, which is true aligned partnerships. So being able to enjoy that. But I'm glad it worked out where I was able to give you your reading regardless, and that we could talk a little bit more about this, because it's been nice to, you know, whatever my people have that book readings, usually there's people that are experiencing the same. You're not alone is what I'm trying to say. It's like this, there's a common red thread that's running through. That's why everyone always will come back and be like, I learned so much from your readings. Bye, YouTube people. Oops.